Mario Balotelli Barwuah is an Italian professional footballer who plays as a striker for Swiss Super League club Sion. Balotelli started his professional football career in 2005 at Lumezane, before joining Inter Milan in 2007. He won the treble in 2010. Balotelli reunited with Inter manager Roberto Mancini at Manchester City in 2010, helping them win a Premier League title and FA Cup. He moved back to Italy in January 2013, signing for AC Milan, before returning to the Premier League with Liverpool 18 months later. Following a return to Milan on loan, Balotelli departed to France, playing for Nice and Marseille in Ligue 1. He returned to Italy a third time, joining Serie A club Brescia in summer 2019, and Serie B club Monza in late 2020. The following summer, Balotelli signed for Turkish club Adana Demirspor. Balotelli earned his first cap for Italy in a friendly match against the Ivory Coast in 2010. He amassed over 30 caps and represented his country at UEFA Euro 2012, the 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup, and the 2014 FIFA World Cup. He helped the national side reach the final of Euro 2012, scoring twice against Germany in the semi-final, and won bronze at the Confederations Cup. Balotelli is Italy's joint top scorer in the UEFA European Championship, and joint top scorer in the FIFA Confederations Cup. Regarded as a highly promising player in his youth, Balotelli is a versatile forward with strength, pace, and an eye for goal. He is regarded as one of the best penalty kick takers in world football. Despite his talent, Balotelli has been criticized for his poor attitude on and off the pitch. Early life. Balotelli was born Mario Barwuah in Palermo, Sicily to Ghanaian immigrants. The family moved to Bagnolo Mela in the province of Brescia, Lombardy, when he was 2. In 1993, when he was 3, he was placed in foster care to the Balotelli family when his own family was unable to pay for his health care needs. His foster parents are Silvia, the Jewish daughter of Holocaust survivors, and Francesco Balotelli. They lived in the town of Concesio, Brescia, in northern Italy. At first, he stayed with the Balotelli family during the weekdays and returned to his biological parents on weekends. He later was permanently fostered by the Balotellis full-time and adopted their surname. In June 2012, he dedicated his goals that put Italy in the final of the Euro 2012 Football Championships to his foster mother Silvia. Balotelli had to wait until his 18th birthday to request Italian citizenship, as his foster family had not adopted him. He officially gained citizenship in Concesio on August 13, 2008. After the ceremony he released the following statement. "I am Italian, I feel Italian, I will forever play with the Italian national team." Mario has 3 biological siblings, Abigail, Enoch, and Angel Barwuah. Enoch Barwuah, 2 years younger than Balotelli, is also a professional footballer. Club career. Lumezane. Balotelli began his career at local side Lumezane, 20 minutes from the Balotelli residence in Concesio. At age 15, he was promoted to the first team, making his first team debut in a Serie C1 league match against Padova on April 2, 2006. Inter Milan. Having had an unsuccessful trial with Barcelona at age 15, Balotelli was signed by Inter Milan in 2006 on loan with a preset price of €150,000 to Sion the player. In June 2007, Inter exercised the option and purchased the other half for an additional €190,000. On November 8, 2007, as part of Sheffield F.C.'s 150th anniversary celebrations, Balotelli featured in a friendly between the two sides at Sheffield United's Bramall Lane. The game finished 5-2 to Inter, with Balotelli scoring twice. He made his first team and Serie A debut on December 16, 2007, replacing David Suazo in a 2-0 win against Cagliari. 3 days later, he was featured in the starting lineup in a Coppa Italia match against Reggina, scoring 2 goals in a 4-1 win. Balotelli gained national attention after he scored 2 goals against Juventus in the return leg of the Coppa Italia quarter-finals, being instrumental in a 3-2 away win for Inter. His first Serie A goal then came in April 2008 in a 2-0 away win against Atalanta. Inter went on to win the 2007-08 Serie A. Balotelli was a substitute in the 2008 Supercoppa Italiana final against Roma, coming on as a replacement for Luis Figo and scoring in the 83rd minute. Inter went on to win the final 6-5 on penalties after the match ended 2-2. In November 2008, Balotelli became the youngest Inter player to score in the UEFA Champions League when he scored a goal in a 3-3 draw against Cypriot side Anorthosis Famagusta, beating the previous record set by Obafemi Martins. In an April 2009 match with Juventus where he scored Inter's only goal in a 1-1 draw, Balotelli was racially abused by Juventus fans throughout the match. This led Inter owner Massimo Moratti to say he would have pulled the team off the pitch had he been present. The racist chants were also condemned by Juventus chairman Giovanni Cavalli Gigli, and Juventus were issued a 1-match home fan ban because of the incident. Inter won Serie A for the 4th time in a row. In his second season with Inter, Balotelli had several disciplinary problems, most notably involving head coach José Mourinho, who excluded him from the first team in the second half of January 2009. Earlier that season, Mourinho had accused Balotelli of showing a lack of effort in training, saying, "As far as I'm concerned, a young boy like him cannot allow himself to train less than people like Figo, Cordoba, and Zanetti." Balotelli continued to be the subject of racist chants throughout the season, becoming the focus of Juventus fans even during matches not involving Inter, leading to Juventus being fined twice and the club ultimately punished with a partial stadium closure. Balotelli's disciplinary problems and his difficult relationship with Mourinho continued in the 2009-10 season. In November 2009, Inter drew 1-1 against Roma, after which Mourinho criticized his players, going as far as saying Balotelli came close to a 0 rating. Balotelli had another negative encounter with Juventus fans in the heated Derby d'Italia encounter in an away match against Juventus on December 5, 2009, which Inter lost 2-1. When he was elbowed by Juventus midfielder Felipe Melo in the shoulder, Balotelli fell theatrically onto the pitch, for which he was booked, while Melo was sent off for a second yellow card. The incident sparked an altercation between Balotelli's teammate Thiago Motta and Juventus goalkeeper Gianluigi Buffon. The tension between Balotelli and Mourinho reached its peak on the eve of the UEFA Champions League second leg against Chelsea after the young striker was not called up, following an altercation with his manager. Despite Inter's 1-0 win at Stamford Bridge, Balotelli was criticized by several senior players, including captain Javier Zanetti and veteran defender Marco Materazzi, as well as by his own agent. In March 2010, he came under heavy criticism from fans after he publicly sported an AC Milan shirt on the Italian show Striscia la Notizia. Balotelli released a statement of apology in Inter's official website that read, "I am sorry for the situation that has been created recently. I am the first person who has suffered because I adore football and I want to play, and now I am waiting in silence so I can return to being useful to my team. I want to put the past behind me, look to the future and concentrate on the upcoming commitments and make myself ready." After a falling out with Mourinho, Balotelli was recalled for Inter's April 2010 match against Bologna, and he marked his return with a goal in their 3-0 win. He again caused controversy in the Champions League semi-final against Barcelona on April 20, 2010 when he threw his shirt on the ground after the final whistle in response to Inter fans who had booed him for his poor performance. He admitted 3 years later the incident was the only regret in his life. Disgruntled fans confronted and tried to attack Balotelli after the match. His behavior on the pitch brought disapproval from his teammates, with Javier Zanetti publicly saying, "Mario needs to focus on doing what he can do on the pitch, he can't allow himself to behave like this." Amid these controversies with his club and manager, many English Premier League teams, including Manchester United and Manchester City, indicated they were interested in signing Balotelli in July 2010. Manchester City 2010-11, 2011-12, 2012-13, AC Milan 2012-13, 2013-14, Liverpool 2014-15, returned to AC Milan on loan. Nice 2016-17, 2017-18, 2018-19, Marseille. On January 23, 2019, Balotelli terminated his contract with Nice and signed a contract until the end of the season with Marseille. On January 25, he made his debut for the club coming on as a substitute in the 74th minute at home to Lille, later also scoring his first goal in the last minute of stoppage time of an ultimate 2-1 loss. He scored his fourth league goal on March 3, an acrobatic volley in a 2-0 home win against Saint-Étienne. He celebrated the goal by creating an Instagram story on the pitch from his cell phone. On March 30, he became the first player since Josip Skoblar in the late 1960s to score in each of his first 5 home games for Marseille in Ligue 1. Brescia. On August 18, 2019, Balotelli signed a multi-year contract with his hometown club Brescia on a free transfer. He signed for a base salary of €1.5 million before bonuses for 1 year, with an automatic renewal if the club avoids relegation. On September 24, 2019, Balotelli made his debut for the club in a 2-1 home league defeat against Juventus. He was unable to play prior to this due to a 4-match suspension he received while at Marseille for a rash challenge against Montpellier. On September 29, he scored his first goal for the club in a 2-1 away loss to Napoli. On November 3, 2019, Balotelli was subjected to racist chants by some of the Hellas Verona fans, prompting him to pick up the ball in the 54th minute and kick it into the crowd. He started to walk off as the match was suspended for several minutes, but he was persuaded by players of both sides to stay on the pitch. He went on to score in the 85th minute of the 2-1 away loss. Balotelli scored Brescia's lone goal in a 1-2 defeat against Lazio on January 5, 2020. During the match, he was once again the subject of racist taunts from the opponent's fan base, and afterwards Balotelli took to social media to condemn the attacks. The Serie A found Lazio supporters guilty of racial abuse but only fined the club €20,000 and they avoided more serious punishment by not having a stadium ban imposed on them. Brescia was relegated to Serie B at the end of the 2019-20 Serie A season, thus the automatic renewal option of his contract was not activated, and the contract was ultimately terminated after Balotelli repeatedly missed training in June and July 2020. In November 2020, Balotelli trained with Serie D side Franciacorta while being a free agent. Monza. On December 7, 2020, Balotelli moved to Serie B side Monza on a 7-month contract, reuniting with former Milan teammate Kevin Prince Boateng, head coach Christian Brocchi, club owner Silvio Berlusconi, and chairman Adriano Galliani. Balotelli made his debut on December 30, starting in a 3-0 win over league leaders Salernitana and scoring on his first touch in the 4th minute. On May 1, 2021, after being on the sidelines for almost a month, Balotelli scored a brace against Salernitana. He came on in the 80th minute and scored on his first touch of the game after less than 1 minute, and doubled his tally in the first minute of added time. Adana Demirspor. On July 7, 2021, Balotelli joined newly promoted Turkish Super League club Adana Demirspor. He scored 18 goals in the 2021-22 Super League season, 5 of which were on the final matchday, in a 7-0 win over Gaziantep. Sion. On August 31, 2022, Balotelli signed a 2-year contract for Swiss Super League club Sion. International career. Youth career. Balotelli was unable to answer call ups to the Italian national under-15 and under-17 teams as he was still considered to be a Ghanaian immigrant. On August 7, 2007, 5 days before his 17th birthday, Balotelli received his first senior international call-up for Ghana from their coach Claude Leroy for a friendly against Senegal at the New Den Stadium in London, England, on August 21, 2007. He declined the offer, citing once again his willingness to play for Italy when he became eligible. He also expressed his willingness to represent Italy at international level once he acquired an Italian passport. Italy under-21 head coach Pierluigi Casiraghi announced his intention to call up Balotelli once he obtained Italian citizenship. On August 13, 2008, Balotelli was finally issued Italian citizenship. This is even more exciting than making my debut in Serie A. The best birthday present I could receive now would be a call to join the Italy squad, although I'd be happy to play for the under-21 team. Casiraghi called him to join the Italy national under-21 football team Azzurri on August 29 for the matches against Greece and Croatia. In his debut on September 5, 2008, he scored his first international goal in a 1-1 draw with Greece. Balotelli was named in the final 23-man squad for the 2009 UEFA European Under-21 Championships and scored the opening goal against the hosts Sweden in the 23rd minute. Barely 15 minutes later, he was shown a red card for retaliating against Swedish midfielder Pontus Wernbloom. Italy were eliminated by eventual champions Germany in the semi-finals following a 1-0 defeat. Early senior career. On August 10, 2010, Balotelli made his first appearance for the Italy senior team, as part of the squad announced by new head coach Cesare Prandelli, in a friendly match against the Ivory Coast, Italy's first match after the 2010 World Cup. In that match he started alongside debutant Amori and striker Antonio Cassano in a 1-0 loss. On November 11, 2011, Balotelli scored his first senior international goal in a 2-0 win against Poland at Stadion Miejski in Wrocław, Poland, also setting up Italy's second goal of the match. UEFA Euro 2012. Before the tournament in Poland and Ukraine, Balotelli was interviewed by a newspaper about racism amongst fans in the host countries. During the interview, Balotelli reiterated his threat to walk off the pitch if any of the opposition fans racially abused him in any way, and said that he would kill anyone that threw a banana at him. He spoke about his increasing fears that black players would be targeted by racists and that he refused to accept racism in any form, talking of his past experience of racism in football, notably during his time playing in Serie A for Inter Milan. During the build-up to the competition, Manchester City manager Roberto Mancini had repeatedly defended Balotelli, but he and footballer Daniele De Rossi believed Balotelli would need to grow up and mature if he was going to become the centerpiece of future Italian success. On June 10, 2012, Balotelli also became the first black player to appear for Italy in a major tournament in a 1-1 draw against Spain, Italy's first match of UEFA Euro 2012. Italy and Spain later played each other for the second time in the tournament in Kyiv. During the 1-1 draw, Balotelli failed to make an impact and he was substituted off during the 56th minute after missing multiple chances, including a one-on-one with Spanish goalkeeper Iker Casillas just minutes before being substituted off. His replacement was Antonio Di Natale, who managed to secure his 11th international goal and put Italy ahead within his time on the pitch. With Balotelli continuing his run of poor form for Italy, fans and critics began calling for Di Natale to replace the immature and unpredictable striker. Later in the tournament, on June 18, 2012, Mario Balotelli scored his first goal in a major international tournament in a 2-0 victory against the Republic of Ireland. When he attempted to celebrate this goal, he was immediately halted by teammate Leonardo Bonucci, who covered Balotelli's mouth with his hand for fear that the striker would say something to get in trouble. Balotelli had been dropped to the bench by Cesare Prandelli prior to the match due to his lack of ability shown in his previous group matches, so when he was substituted on against Ireland, fans did not expect him to have much of an impact and his celebration of his goal may have originally been directed towards the naysayers who believe he is bad for the team. Balotelli went on to start against England in the quarter-finals. His performance was described as wasteful, but his effort was rated highly in a match where he missed multiple chances. He scored the first penalty taken in the shootout against his Manchester City teammate Joe Hart. On June 28, Balotelli scored twice within the first 40 minutes in Italy's semi-final clash with Germany, as the Azzurri won 2-1 and progressed to the Euro 2012 final against European and world champions Spain. After scoring the second goal in that semi-final, he ripped off his shirt and stood motionless as he flexed his muscles, developing a famous celebration. Going into the final, Balotelli said Manchester City's title success meant failure in the Euro would not signal a personal failure this season. He also said he was unfazed by the pressure he supposedly had on his shoulders entering the final, with new high expectations of him from his home supporters after his amazing performance against Germany. During the tournament, Balotelli was subject to a case of racial abuse during the game against Croatia, which led UEFA to fine the Croatian Football Federation €80,000. Italy were defeated 4-0 in the final by Spain. Despite the heavy defeat, Balotelli was named as part of the Euro 2012 team of the tournament due to his performances. With 3 goals, Balotelli finished the tournament as the joint top scorer along with 5 other players, although the Golden Boot ultimately went to Fernando Torres because of his assist in the Euro 2012 final. 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifying. After establishing himself in the side at Euro 2012, Balotelli remained the first-choice striker for Italy's 2014 FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign. On March 21, 2013, Balotelli scored a long-range equalizer in a friendly match against Brazil at the Stade de Genève. 5 days later, he scored both goals as Italy defeated Malta in a World Cup qualifier, continuing his prolific scoring streak for both club and country since signing for Milan. On June 7, 2013, Balotelli was sent off in a 0-0 draw with the Czech Republic in Prague. On September 10, 2013, Balotelli scored the winning goal in a World Cup qualifying match against the Czech Republic in Turin, which allowed Italy to clinch the first-place spot in their qualifying group and ultimately achieve their objective of qualifying for the 2014 World Cup. Balotelli finished the 2014 World Cup qualifying campaign as Italy's top scorer with 5 goals. He was also the top scorer of his qualifying group, helping Italy to win their group undefeated. 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup. On June 3, 2013, Balotelli was named in Italy's squad for the 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup. In Italy's opening match on June 16, Balotelli scored a late winner, helping Italy to beat Mexico 2-1. In Italy's next group match with Japan, Balotelli scored a penalty to make it 3-2 after being 2-0 down in the first half. This was also his 10th goal for Italy, making him the second youngest player after Giuseppe Meazza to achieve this tally. Italy went on to win the match 4-3, which allowed them to participate in the semi-finals of the Confederations Cup for the first time in their history. In Italy's final group match against hosts and eventual champions Brazil, Balotelli set up Emanuele Giaccherini's equalizer with a back heel, although Italy eventually lost 4-2. Prior to the semi-final, Balotelli suffered a thigh injury that prevented him from playing in the remainder of the tournament. Italy finished the tournament in third place after defeating Uruguay in a playoff. 2014 FIFA World Cup. On June 1, 2014, Balotelli was selected in Italy's squad for the 2014 World Cup. In Italy's opening match of the tournament, he scored the team's winning goal in a 2-1 victory over England on June 14. After the match, Balotelli said playing in the World Cup for the first time was a wonderful sensation to experience and dedicated the goal to his future wife Fanny Nguesha, whom he ultimately did not marry. Italy lost their next 2 matches and were eliminated in the first round, finishing third in their group. Cesare Prandelli subsequently resigned as Italy manager. 2014 present, post-World Cup. Under Italy's new manager Antonio Conte, Balotelli only received 1 call-up in November 2014 but was unable to make a single appearance for Italy due to injury. After a lackluster season with Milan, he was omitted from Conte's 23-man squad for UEFA Euro 2016. After Italy failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup, Balotelli was expected to be called up by caretaker manager Luigi Di Biagio for Italy's March 2018 friendlies, after the replacement of Gianpiero Ventura. However, Balotelli was officially omitted from the squad on March 17, 2018. On May 19, 2018, Balotelli was called up for the first time since November 2014 by newly appointed manager Roberto Mancini for Italy's May and June 2018 friendlies. On May 28, Balotelli made his first appearance for the national team since the 2014 World Cup, starting in the match against Saudi Arabia and scoring the opener in the 20th minute. He was later substituted in the 58th minute for Andrea Bellotti, who scored the second goal of the match in an eventual 2-1 victory. Balotelli dedicated his goal to former Italy teammate Davide Astori, who died earlier in the year. On January 24, 2022, after a 4-year international absence, Balotelli was called up by Italy manager Roberto Mancini to join the Azzurri for a 3-day training camp in Coverciano. Style of play: agile, quick, creative, and powerful, Balotelli is credited with pace, flair, physical strength, technical ability, and an eye for goal. His height, elevation, and physique allow him to excel in the air, and he is capable of scoring with his head or with either foot, from both inside or outside the penalty area, despite being naturally right-footed. Although he normally plays in a central role as a main striker, he is a versatile forward capable of playing anywhere along the front line and has also been deployed as a winger or as a second striker. Despite his talent, he has been criticized by managers, teammates, and the media for a perceived poor and immature attitude at times, as well as for his poor movement and work rate, inconsistency, mentality, and volatile temperament and arrogant behavior on the pitch, which has often led him to pick up unnecessary bookings throughout his career. Balotelli has also been accused of diving, and is thus regarded by teammates and the media as a promising but undisciplined player. Due to his powerful shot, Balotelli is also a set-piece specialist, and is regarded as one of the best penalty kick takers in world football, a view backed by his former Manchester City goalkeeping teammate Joe Hart. Balotelli missed his first competitive penalty against Napoli on September 22, 2013 when it was saved by Pepe Reina, the first time in 22 attempts as a professional. In total, he has scored 38 of 43 penalties taken. Personality and public image. Balotelli is nicknamed Super Mario after the Italian video game character Mario from the iconic Nintendo series. Balotelli has been given a reputation by the media for being a difficult character and taking part in questionable and often amusing activities. He was once described by José Mourinho as unmanageable. In June 2010, Balotelli and a group of friends fired air pistols in the open in Milan's Piazza della Repubblica. Although denying he is crazy as his mentor Roberto Mancini frequently claims, Balotelli has admitted he sometimes does strange things. In 2010, he was photographed in the company of two noted mafia mobsters. Balotelli gained a cult following after joining Manchester City. Manchester City supporters regularly sang a song with lyrics which made reference to his activities. Musician Tinci Strider recorded a song in Balotelli's honor, Mario Balotelli. Balotelli was the subject of numerous newspaper stories after joining Manchester City, some based in fact, others the subject of rumor and speculation. Within days of joining Manchester City, Balotelli was involved in a car crash. It was reported Balotelli was carrying £5,000 cash at the time, and that when a police officer asked why he had such a large sum of cash, Balotelli replied, "Because I am rich." Off-field activities involving Balotelli have included driving into a women's prison in Italy to have a look round, and throwing darts at a youth team player during a training ground prank, all of which have been confirmed to be true. Balotelli was also subjected to tabloid rumors about him confronting a bully in a school after querying why a young Manchester City fan was not attending classes, and giving £1,000 to a homeless man on the streets of Manchester. Both of these reports turned out to be false. Video footage before Manchester City's UEFA Europa League match with Dynamo Kyiv in March 2011 showed Balotelli requiring assistants to put on a training ground bib, an incident which teammate Edin Dzeko was seen mimicking the following week in the warm-up before City's match at Chelsea. In September 2011, Balotelli was reportedly seen using his iPad while on the substitutes bench for Italy during their match with the Faroe Islands, although he denied this on a visit to a prison later that week. Balotelli celebrated his goal against Manchester United in October 2011 by unveiling a shirt with the words, "Why always me?" on it, a celebration which seemingly disputes the accuracy of newspaper reports. The day before the match, Balotelli and his friends set part of Balotelli's house on fire when a firework was set off in it. Later that week, Balotelli was unveiled as Greater Manchester's ambassador for firework safety. On November 5, 2011, at the annual fireworks display at Edenbridge, Kent, a 12-metre-tall bonfire effigy of Balotelli was unveiled, complete with a Super Mario hat, a house in the right hand and a giant TNT firework in his left, which were reference to his recent incident. In December 2011, Balotelli broke a 48-hour curfew before Manchester City's match against Chelsea to go to a curry house, although he was not drinking alcohol, signed autographs, posed for pictures with fellow diners and was involved in a mock sword fight using rolling pins. The club launched an internal investigation. In March 2012, when Inter Milan held a press conference for their new manager Andrea Stramaxiani, Balotelli gate crashed the event. On June 27, 2012, Balotelli explained why he doesn't celebrate when he scores. "When I score, I don't celebrate because it's my job. When a postman delivers letters, does he celebrate?" One day later he scored a brace against Germany in the Euro semi-finals and celebrated by taking off his shirt and flexing his muscles, which popularized his quote due to the irony. In December 2012, Balotelli was due to take Manchester City to a Premier League tribunal to protest against a fine of 2 weeks' wages over his poor disciplinary record, but eventually dropped his application a day before the hearing. On December 1, 2014, Balotelli was accused of racism and anti-Semitism for posting an image on Instagram of the video game character Mario. The image promoted anti-racism by telling others to be like the character, attributing him qualities stereotypically associated with different ethnicities, ending the idea that he jumps like a black man and grabs coins like a Jew. In response to criticisms, he wrote, "My mom is Jewish, so all of you shut up please. I told him, if you played with me 10 years ago I would give you every day maybe one punch in your head. There are different ways to help a guy like Mario. I don't speak with him every day, otherwise I would need a psychologist, but I speak with him because I don't want him to lose his quality. If Mario is not one of the best players in the world it will be his fault, because he has everything. Mario can be one of the top players in Europe. I don't want him to lose his talent. I've finished my words for him. I've finished. I love him as a guy, as a player. I know him. He's not a bad guy and is a fantastic player. But, at this moment, I'm very sorry for him because he continues to lose his talent, his quality. I hope, for him, he can understand that he's in a bad way for his future. And he can change his behavior in the future. But I'm finished." Personal life. In 2012, Balotelli featured in GQ, where he was named the second best dressed man in the world behind British musician Tiny Tempa. Balotelli also appeared on the cover of the November 2012 edition of Time magazine. Balotelli is a fan of mixed martial arts and has said in the past he would love to compete in the sport professionally if he were not a footballer. Balotelli no longer drinks alcohol. In July 2012, Balotelli's former girlfriend Raffaella Fico revealed she was pregnant with his child, while Balotelli responded by claiming he would only assume paternal responsibilities upon a positive paternity test. Fico's daughter Pia was born on December 5, 2012. Later in December 2012, Fico accused Balotelli of being irresponsible and not interested in her newborn daughter. In response, Balotelli threatened to take legal action against Fico to defend his reputation against what he considered false accusations. In February 2014, Balotelli finally acknowledged paternity of his daughter Pia following a positive DNA test. Balotelli was romantically involved with Fanny Nguesha in 2013 and 2014, becoming engaged at some point. On September 28, 2017, Balotelli fathered a second child, a son named Lion, born to an unidentified woman. Career statistics. Club. As of match played November 12, 2022.